Let DART do the driving. DART First State provides transportation that is clean, safe, reliable, and affordable. Plan your trip and get real-time bus information with the free DART Transit app. Scan your phone to pay your fare with the free DART Pass app. So what are you waiting for? Try transit today. Visit dartfirststate.com or call 1-800-652-DART.
Coming up on Good Morning Wilmington Live, Ivan and Vincenza pay homage to one of Channel 28's broadcasting legends, Mr. Tim Qualls. This is an episode you do not want to miss. Tune in Wednesday, September 21st at 10 a.m. right here on DETV.
Good morning, Wilmington. What's going on? I'm your main man, Big Ivan, the talk of the town, Mr. DETV, Mr. Positivity. And today, it is Wednesday, September 21st, and I'm here with my amazing, beautiful co-host,
Vincenza. Good morning, Wilmington, and good morning, Ivan.
Good morning, Vin, and I look marvelous as always.
Thank you, thank you. So, I'm sure you know, today is September 21st.
And what does that mean?
And it's the September song. I was very excited about today's show because of the September song.
Earth, Wind, and Fire,
of
if you
course.
don't get it. Yeah.
Do you remember? The 21st night of September.
Yep.
Everyone is playing that song on their social media today.
Yes,
I know. It's my favorite
song. And it's
song.
a beautiful song. Mm-hmm. They play that at all the black barbecues, I'm telling you.
Yes.
You'll see
well, they play it everywhere because that song is timeless.
Yes, yes.
It just never gets old.
No.
Even though it's an iconic song, but it's still just a legendary song.
Right.
But speaking of iconic
and
legendary, we have a very special show for everyone today.
Yes. Our own, the man that's been around for, I want to say over 40 years in TV.
Were you talking about my age and how long? I'll take 40 if you're talking about my age.
40-year-old TV veteran Tim Qualls is here as our special co-host today. What's going on,
hey, guys? I thank you for inviting me. I mean, it's been a while since I've gotten old. So I try to stay I tried to stay behind the camera a lot. So we're still, I'm still out there doing my thing. But to be on this is just a thrill. I mean, I'm excited to be here.
And you know what? And thank you for coming. Vincenza and I met for a business lunch.
Yes.
And we were just talking one day, and she said, I don't know if you remember, I was on the Tim Qualls show. And I was like, well, everyone was on the Tim Qualls show.
Yes, everyone.
And she sent me the clip of her. What year was it?
Gosh, 2008.
Yes.
I was Miss Delaware, USA. You remember?
Oh, wow, that's way back.
For a very long time, and it's the Miss United States organization. So there are actually different divisions. I'm the Miss, and Allie's the Miss Preteen, and there's so many other different divisions. But we all have our national competition coming up this July, and we're already started training for it and getting ready and picking our gowns and what we need in our wardrobe.
Because that's part of it now. Because different ones, I find some have platforms, some have talent.
This one has a platform.
You have a platform,
yes,
and
we get to pick our own
and
personal
if I know
platform.
you, I think yours is going to be tied to breast cancer somehow or another. What are you doing on this?
I'm an advocate for supporting breast cancer awareness, but my passion is promoting literacy through the nonprofit organization I co-founded, Success Won't Wait.
Oh, I forgot about that.
How could you forget, Tim?
You brought me
I got to say that through Fred Wright, who got me started way back when with the Miss pageants, if you would, Miss Teen. And I was so excited every year because I got to interview each one of you.
That's right.
And that we'd set it up one week, one come on, next week the other one come on. And Miss Teen, I can't remember, you'll know, the one that went on and showed and
Won Miss Teen USA.
Yeah.
Ashley Coleman.
Ashley Coleman.
Our very own
chef.
So she's a chef on DETV with us. So Ashley,
I didn't put the two
Ashley
together.
Thayer now.
I
Ashley
did not
Thayer.
put the two together.
Her name is Ashley Thayer now, but yes, Ashley Coleman was Miss Teen USA in 1999.
Now,
she's
pull
the
that
first
so
and
you guys
only
can have it.
Delaware representative to win the national title, so that was a big deal. I'm glad you remembered. That was really special.
Ashley, but I was so excited because we never, not that you shouldn't have won Miss World, but
oh gosh, thank you.
yeah, but we never had one at that point to win the
Right,
the
no,
major
it was
title.
a big deal.
And that was so excited to have that piece of history. And speaking of history, what's on? We started doing internet probably and putting things on the computers. Probably 20 years ago. Where I haven't been out doing much in the last 10 years. So, what's on there is like
gold.
Well, not that. What's gold is my wife. I started when we closed down my studio, moved everything out. I started throwing my tapes away.
Did you?
And she said, "You can't. That's your legacy." I said, "I don't have a legacy."
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
And so I stored them all in, and they've been in storage. And here, about 2 months ago, I figured out, well, let me see what's in there. And one of the most biggest shows, because when I started with the channel, we had some viewers, but I wanted to get everybody viewing it. So I said, what can make everybody view it? Put everybody's face on TV. Right. Where can I find everybody? The clubs. So we started Club Sing. So from that, I put up a couple of them, and they've gone nuts with it.
Right.
I mean, and so
I'm trying to pull more. Remember they were at the Kahunaville? Remember
Kahunaville? Yes.
You had everyone on your shows, right? Now, when I was going through over 20 years ago, you had so many different people, but diversity was definitely there. You were like ahead of your time.
Oh, I remember Senator Quinn coming in to do this. I was there. When he first started in politics, we promoted him on our show with his whole family. I mean, he had his family on. That's when he was running for Newcastle County executive.
Right.
But Chris, what a fantastic guy. I love him as a family man, and stuff. But he's just different ones. There's so many. But he walked into the studio one day and he said, Tim, I got to say one thing for you. He said, this is the most diverse studio I've ever been in my life, because I didn't look at it any other way.
Right.
I mean, I love the world.
Right.
I love the world. Joe Richmond.
Yep.
I mean, Joe and I when he and his brother came and they were trying to get anybody to support them, and I bumped into them and started talking to them. They were trying to bring a basketball into Delaware.
Right.
So immediately I got with them, and I'll never forget the first interview. They were sitting here like this, and I can give myself credit for teaching Joe how to talk real quick on camera.
Okay.
Because we were sitting here getting ready to start the show, and then we were coming back, and they said 5, 4, 3. I got up and walked off. It was Joe and Mike
by himself.
Well, Joe took off with it, so I created a show for him. Sports something in Delaware, with Joe Richmond. He'd do the Blue Rocks and different things. So he's.
Who was your best interview? Well, not your best because you had so many.
We had so many, just like we have so many.
Yeah, we have so. It's hard to say your best.
One.
The ones that stick out to you.
Well, and that's tough for me. I mean, I've interviewed Roscoe P. Coltrane. He was on my show.
That's a real person.
James Best, there was that. And if you look at his career, he's passed away here not too many years back, but you look at his career, this guy was a Hollywood hunk back and did the Westerns, was on the Andy Griffith show. And then, Joe Jamie Best happened to live here in Delaware. Okay. And she did some things with me, and then I found out, that's your dad? Right. So I had him on. I mean, I've had... I sang with Bobby Rydell on, and just different ones. But who would be? Oh, it'd be so hard to figure out who would be. Who, guys I love right now, Brian Quinn, who's a guitar player, played with a group called Foster Child at the time, along with Danny Beisel. Well, Brian Quinn is now the lead guitarist for Candlebox. Yeah. So I talk to them on a regular basis, and I kind of was there at their beginning. Nice. And Danny Beisel, in fact, like 2 weeks ago, I was at a concert with You're getting signal, aren't you?
He picked it up.
But I want to tell you this story because I was with the group. It's going to be hard for me to remember names right now, but it's called the All Star Vinyl, and they go around and they happen to have Danny Beisel as their lead singer now. But you got Skunk Baxter from the Doobie Brothers in Boston. You got Gary Mardeau, who created Boston, and a lot of others. So you got a lot of people in this band. And we were back there. I was with Mousy Thompson, who played for the James Brown band. He was the drummer for them. So you know. And through these guys, because way back when, now I get to meet all these other guys.
Right.
And, you know, so it's life's good. I'm a blessed man, Ivan. Right. I told you that. The good Lord's been good to me my whole life. I don't know why. Haven't quite figured that out, but you know, life's good. And as you can see, I haven't learned to shut up yet. So.
Well, I'm going to interject because I think it's important we just share with our viewers a little bit about how you got started into television. I think that's so important to just give a little background, right? Wouldn't that be nice to hear a little history? So for those of you who don't know Tim Qualls, you should know, right? So why don't you share with our viewers a little bit of how you got into television?
Man, I have no talent. Okay, I can't sing and I can't dance, so that ain't happening. I'm trying.
You
still,
have
though.
what is it? The gift of gab.
The gift of gab.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've been called so many of the News Journal referred to me as the Pied Piper of Delaware. You know, because but it was funny story that. Way back when I was working pest control, coming out of the military, I was in the chemical end of it in the military. So when I got out, killing bugs, you know, so it was the same kind of stuff, and I needed a job. So I went and got a job at Orkin. I went from here to as far as I could go with working pest control, and I couldn't go any higher because you had to have a college degree. So that wasn't happening. I didn't do the high school bit because I didn't like school, and I sure wasn't going to do the college. But I wanted in the entertainment business. And I told my wife, I made good money. I was a major accounts manager for Orkin Pest Control, traveled the United States, sold big accounts to them. So I'm a salesman, gift of gab, right? Coming back. So from there, I wanted to be in the entertainment business. I told my wife, I'm going to find something. And WNRK radio, AM radio in Newark, was running an ad for a salesman. I went over and talked to the guy, Al Campagnon, and he said, looked at my resume, he said, man, you're way out of my ballpark. He said, I was looking to spend $125 plus commissions. I said, well, look it over, think about it, and make me an offer. And I thought, well, there's the end of that one too. And about 2 weeks later, he called me and wanted to have lunch, went and had lunch with him. He said, here's what I can do. I can give you $200 a week. Now you got to understand, Ivan, I'm making
money over there.
Money. And he said, I'll give you $200 a week plus we'll do these incentives. And I looked at it, weighed it in, and I said, I'll take the job. I just wanted to be in. So from there, I went from there, ended up being partners with Joe Farley on WAMS. The land got sold, we couldn't get towers up anywhere else, so I'm without a job. But during that time with WAMS, I had a couple named Bradley and Bradley, attorneys out of Philadelphia. They came out and saw one of my sports shows that I did on the radio. Harry Callis on the radio. I never got him on TV but for a quick interview, but the radio would always be there. But they had gone to this radio show. Well, they contacted me, wanted to meet with me, and I'm thinking attorneys, they're going to sue me, they're going to, so I met with them, and they wanted to do a TV show for BET TV.
Wow.
And me hosting it. So we shot, I want to say 6, 7 pilots that they ran in New York, got some good reviews off of them and things like that, but the guy turned out to be a slime ball. And was chasing the women and stuff like that were involved with the show. So I'm not going to be a part of that. Thanks, you know, thank you. And I kind of went my way and they went their way. But I found out how to do TV at a low cost because they rented Channel 28 studios. Okay, so Harold Pritchard was the runner of, ran the studios at the time. And I talked to Harold and I said, how much is it to just come in here and do a live show? He said $150 for an hour. I said $150 for an hour
for TV, right?
Yeah, for television. So I had a client that was, because I went back just selling for WNRK to just keep money coming in, and I was doing a little bit of insurance sales, but I wasn't done with what I wanted to do. And so I had a guy on the radio that wasn't getting the results from radio. And I like people to get results.
Right.
And so I presented him with the idea of going on and doing an hour show live from the studios, because everything was all that big, thick blue carpet was your backdrop.
Now where was the studio?
It was, at that time, it was in where the call center is, out on Route 13.
That's the Tiberi call center, right? No. The call center was that
Comcast call center.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I know where
the
that
old
is.
The big, just a 295, but that's where the studios were.
The old Sayers, yeah.
So I talked to this guy, and when I went back to sell him, I said, "You're not getting results on the radio. Would you like to try this TV thing and stuff?" Because I had him spending $300 a week for radio.
Right.
Well, if I get him to give me $300 a week for TV, I just put $150 in my pocket. You know? So turns out Ed Stevenson, he's still around. God bless him. He used to do a wrestling show on that channel. Way back when he was younger, he had it when it was in the old studio where it first started, and it was Channel 2 at that time.
Right,
Yeah.
I remember.
And so he said, I used to do it. Yeah, let's do it. But he didn't want to host it. He didn't have anybody to host it. So I said, well, because I did radio, I said, I'll host it. And
So Tim Qualls is hosting wrestling.
No. Auto. This is my first auto.
Oh, okay.
So I took pictures, photographs. We didn't have a camera. I didn't have anything. I went to his yard and took pictures of the automobiles. I placed them on a white cardboard, stuck them on an easel. So we had 2 cameras at the time in the studio.
Right.
One camera on me, one camera on these cars.
Okay.
And they moved from car to car when I was ready. Ivan, I did 10 cars in that show, and I don't know what I said for an hour, because I do 10 cars in 10 minutes. Right. But the next day, I had these bells that I rang and stuff. I had this collection of bells, and I just brought them on. I was ringing bells. Hey, that's a bell. Oh, look at the size of that. I didn't know what to do. And I was screaming, because that's energy talk. So the next day, the guy had a line of cars waiting on him to open his gates.
Wow.
From that, I said, results like unbelievable.
Well, let's do this. We got to take a quick break. We're going to come back, and we're going to finish that story, all right?
All right.
So we'll be right back, Vin. I'm excited. We have the legendary Tim Qualls on the plaza with us.
Hey, I'm excited to be here. Well, not so much with you.
We'll be right back after these messages. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Lanny Schwager with your Downtown Update, brought to you by DETV. Maker's Alley has lots of live music happening this month. On Friday, September 23rd, come out for Pearl Street Live. Maker's Micro Music Fest is on October 1st, and more live music can be found on their Facebook page. Live music on Friday and Saturday nights is still at Tonic Seafood and Steak. Holy Mike Night is at Milk and Honey Cafe in Loma on September 8th and 22nd, which offers music, hip-hop, and poetry, all brought to you by Sycamore Hill Church. The Grand Opera House is the place to be this month with Gary Clark Jr. on September 27th. Free live music continues with the City Sounds Block Party Series, September 22nd with What the Funk on the 800 block of Market Street. Open mic night at Artscapes is every second and fourth Friday of the month. Plus enjoy the newest stage play, Brown Skin Girl, which opens on September 24th and 25th. Enjoy live music every Thursday night at Deco Food Hall, and then on Saturday mornings, come out and shop small for their Deco Market. And don't forget, the Downtown Farmers Market in Rodney Square continues every Wednesday from 10 to 2. Make sure you download Downtown's newest app, featuring everything you need to know about downtown Wilmington. Just go to your app store and search Downtown Wilm DE to download the app today.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited. Stormins Classic Hall of Fame inductees have just reached here. We're going to induct 100 people, and all the conversation around the state is going to come to a halt because we're going to induct 100 guys and girls on September the 29th at the Chase Center at 6 p.m. Be there. Also, most of these folks participated in Stormins Turkey Drive. It always happens the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Be there, Stormins Classic 100 Basketball Hall of Fame. I'm ready.
Let DART do the driving. DART First State provides transportation that is clean, safe, reliable, and affordable. Plan your trip and get real-time bus information with the free DART Transit app. Scan your phone to pay your fare with the free DART Pass app. So what are you waiting for? Try transit today. Visit dartfirststate.com or call 1-800-652-DART.
Welcome back to the special Good Morning Wilmington. Vincenza, again, we're just super excited to bring you live on the plaza a great person who is an icon in TV history here in Delaware that we all get our cues from. See what I did there?
I love that. I love that.
Tim Qualls is here on the plaza at DETV, the grandfather of television here. Everyone knows you, Tim. I mean, I went to go buy a car, and the guy says, "Oh, you're down there with Tim Qualls."
Well, it's one of those deals, and when you're in people's faces, because I did most of the hosting because I couldn't find people. You know, everybody say, "Oh, anybody can do that." I give them the microphone, Ivan, and say, "Come on."
You used to have, you had a lot of people on, and it was one guest that stood out to me, Tina Betts.
Tina was always great. Tina's a sweetheart. Cameron never bothered Tina, but she was in the political
Right,
arena.
she was always there with politics.
Yeah,
you know, we've had the opportunity to interview Tina on Good Morning Wilmington. She's been on the show.
Yeah, well,
Oh, yes.
she's been on everything.
She was on yours for like 25 years ago?
Yeah.
On June 15th, we're actually dedicating a commissioned monument, a Clifford Brown twin obelisk, in the new Clifford Brown Gardens on Clifford Brown Walkway. Say that 6 times. Okay, so that's on June 15th at 3 p.m. And then on June 22nd, on the other end of the festival, we're doing an event in the Grand Opera House beginning at 2 p.m. It's a tribute to Clifford Brown. We're calling it Clifford Brown, a tribute in word and music. And it will be vignettes talking about the life of Clifford Brown and fused with the musical performances. It's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, well,
Clifford Brown Jr. is coming over.
He was a local guy.
He grew up right on the east side of Wilmington, attended Howard High School.
Left us at a young age.
Yeah, 25 years old.
Yeah, Tina and I go way back, and her husband even further back.
Right.
I got a show that was cooked. I told you about Cooked to Order. I have a show with her husband and my guy, and my wife watched it, and she says, "Is he drunk?" Not Tina's husband. They got into tasting a little bit of the stuffed sauce.
A little special sauce.
Yeah, but a lot of fun. I mean, I look back on it, and so many people, and I tried to. Charity was real big to me, getting the word out about different events.
Right. And we appreciated that you did do that, and you did pave the way, because we also here at DETV and Good Morning Wilmington love to promote that as well.
Yeah.
So you definitely paved the way for us, and I feel like that was something that we continue to do here at Good Morning Wilmington, is we like to honor and give these founders of nonprofit organizations, volunteers, a platform to speak on so they can get the message out there.
Right.
I mean, we've had so many incredible guests on the show. Just to name a few that you have also had, you've interviewed before.
The ones that are still alive. Yeah. So, but
wait, was there another? Wait, there was another one that it's coming to mind, that Dave Tiberi.
So this is Delaware's, I think, in history, growing up in the sport, this is probably the biggest fight ever come out of Delaware. And then, of course, we just found out Gamboa from Cuba is going to be the co-feature. And then we have the local boys. My nephew Mikey, who is 4-0, 2 knockouts. He's going to be featured. Ryan Belasca from Newcastle. Have a fighter from Kent, fighter from Sussex. So because of these knockout artists, there's a good chance our local boys could see some ESPN time.
He's been on the show multiple times.
Yes.
Dave will be. You asked Dave. Oh, I'm going to be on TV.
Well, so let's do this. So it's been over 25 years. That last time you probably seen her was on your set. So we asked her to come by today, Tina Betts.
Oh, wow, Tina, yeah.
We asked Tina to come by today, and we were like, we were super happy to have her.
Oh. That's not Tina Betts. That is not Tina. It can't be.
It's not
oh
Tina
my
Betts.
God.
How you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good.
It's
good.
been too many years,
Oh
man.
my God, girl. Let me tell you, it's been way too many years.
Oh my gosh, who are you?
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know who I'm talking to here.
Well, that's what.
Tina, welcome. So nice to see
Good
you.
to see you again.
Yes.
What makes it nice is, because I used to get recognized no matter what. My wife, one Halloween, we were going as vampires, and I grew this. Now, this is at the time where I still had that golden blonde hair. the color of that golden blonde hair, I should say. And she made me do this, and we went as vampires. Now she won't let me cut it off, but it's helped because nobody recognized me.
We recognize you.
Well,
you're very recognizable.
We're friends for so long.
Oh my gosh. Let's not talk about how many decades, because it is decades.
Right.
Oh.
Decades. That's all I'm talking. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I remember going back and we were talking a story how it all got started. And I remember when I did it, I met Twin B. Brown.
Right.
Okay. Twin B. Brown had like 7 shows. 7 shows. I'm like, oh, wow.
Right.
I said, I'm going to get as big as you.
Right. I was going through social media, and this is all because of Vincenza. Vincenza made me, she's like, look at my episode with Tim Qualls.
We were talking about it, and I shared the episode.
Yeah, she shared the episode, and I went through and I saw then I shared it with everyone at the station. And I was like, oh my God, there go Tina. There go Mama Queen right there, Tina Betts.
We did a lot
more
together.
than just a Tim. See, that's people look at it and they remember the Tim Qualls show. That was my guys that wanted me to do that, so my name would get out.
Okay.
I didn't. Most people. Hi, I'm sorry. I didn't do all that.
Well, give me a minute because we have another guest for you.
Uh-oh.
We got. All right, we have Dave the Champ Tiberius.
See, I told you, all you got to do is say, Dave, you're going to be on TV, and here you come. Oh, my goodness. You should say, Dave the Governor Tiberius, because he's coming right there. My God. Congratulations.
Congratulations to you.
Yeah, you deserved every bit of it, man. You never wanted to step in it with me, but I can understand why.
I would have.
Oh, we're going to have to shift.
Right there. What's up, champ? How you doing, baby?
I would have paid
Thanks
to
for
see
coming.
that.
Dave.
So nice to see you.
I work my way back through the
Yes. Have a seat. We're gonna.
Yeah. Well, we got a backdrop.
Yeah,
I have your back, I guess you can
Yes, you do.
There you go.
Real quick, champ. How long? It was 25 years ago. You was on the Tim Qualls show you was a host.
I can take you further back before the Tim
give it to me.
Qualls show. Dave Tiberius was coming up, and he was, he had the fight and everything. And before he was fighting, I was at WNRK, and I did a show at Air Transport Command.
Oh my gosh.
That's where I met my wife.
Yep, I was at Air Transport Command. I said, Dave, you got to come up and do my show. And he gained all my respect the first time that we ever talked when I was trying to get him to come do my show. He said, what are you doing at? I said, we're in the bar at the Air Transport Command. He said, Tim, I don't go in bars.
Right.
I don't go in bars.
He's the same Dave, man.
I'm a good Christian man and blah, blah, blah. I said, Dave, I appreciate that. My grandfather was a Baptist preacher. Now, it took me a few years to realize how good the Lord is to me. But Dave would not do that. I said, Dave, will you go to the restaurant? He said, yeah, I'll go and eat in the restaurant. My show was in the bar. I took a cordless mic, we then walked out to that restaurant, sit with him and Ed at the table, and then interview with Dave Tiberius. So that's when our relationship, and he has always been so kind, and we were competition. We were never competition.
Right.
We had Dave Tiberius at large, and I supported him. He supported me, and then they changed. We had to do some things where they changed formats on tapes and stuff.
Right.
And the first one I called was Dave Tiberius, and
he's right there.
Well, he dumped all my. We shot in one format. He changed it to another format so we can run it on something else. He charged me an arm and a leg.
So Dave, what was it like being with Tim back there in the studio? Because every time I turn around, you was there on the episode, just like Tina on the episode of the Tim Qualls Show.
Well, it's 22 years doing, it was Channel 22 and then Channel 28. And my wife had Delaware Women Weekly. What was exciting about today and sharing, I love it to be able to share the stories about what Tim Qualls has done for cable television. Tim helped everybody. And my wife and I have always talked about that. She said before, and we love Tim. I mean, usually people look at competition. He just touched on it. There was no competition. How could we help each other? And that's just really how he was truly God's hands extended. Because when young people came on the shows, they wanted to start their own shows, Tim would be the first to help them out and help them guide them through. And that's the kind of guy you have here today, is somebody that deserves this recognition.
And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to, give him his flowers.
You guys don't make me cry.
Oh, that's what it's about, baby. That's what we do around here.
I'm a very emotional guy now.
Look, let me tell you something. I'm sorry.
I like to tell a story. This is a story, and Tim, I think you'll remember this. I mean, there are lots of stories to tell, just one today. Tim, of course, knows my husband, Rick, and he knows that Rick is into the blues. And he knew that we did the Blues Festival, which we talked about a lot on the show, and the Jazz Festival. So you knew I was into jazz and on the classical music. And he also knew that we had a son who had a band. So I think the assumption was that our son would also be into either blues or jazz or classical music, my son Damon. So
you don't know.
So it was, so he booked, Tim used to book music for his show. So he booked my son's band, sight unseen, making the assumption I know his dad, I know his mom, blues, jazz, classical. So it booked my son and his band. My son and his band shows up. It was nowhere near blues, nowhere near jazz, nowhere near.
We gotta go.
We still can't describe what it was. My son came on. He had a tunic that was about, my son was like 6'5".
Oh, right. Big.
Had this black tunic on, no underwear. And then another band member came in and had a bucket.
A bucket on his head.
So this was a bucket on his head. And I think the moment of that show, Tim, was when they did a cutaway to your face, looking at this band perform. It was priceless. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. It was priceless.
Here's Eamon now. He's out here like a dress. You say, I'm looking at him in a dress. I think he had a wig on, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He had a wig.
Yeah, and I think the band was called the Bill Riccio 5, and there were 4 members. For the Bill Riccio 5. We're still trying to figure out what that was all about. But yeah, you gave them a great break. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but that's what it was all about. I really didn't care.
Well, when you looked at, and this is me looking at the Tim Qualls Show over 25 years ago, right? I'm looking at it and I saw that. I saw one, the diversity, and I saw 2, he was giving everyone a platform.
Yeah. Yes.
And even to the day, and I'm gonna say about 28 years ago, Saturday was the concert for the People's Festival. And when I looked on there, we saw that you interviewed Jenny Pitts. And I want to say it was like the 9th episode. So what we did was we brought Miss Jenny Pitts back.
Jenny, she is. Oh, my God. Jenny's been,
this is
I
great.
don't know how many times we did that.
We wanted just, I don't know, we thought about it like,
still going
it's like reunion. It's the reunion show.
I'm still going strong. Hi, Miss Jenny, how are you?
I'm an old man. You guys are still looking all right. I always enjoyed Jenny because I think she was an entrepreneur on her own for the festival that she did, and I wanted to support people in that way. Anybody that wanted, to me, if you wanted to do it, I always tell people, just go do it.
That's right.
Just go do over 20 years ago on the Tim Qualls Show, what was your fondest memory?
Just being able to be there and bring a live act so that, like Spooky Speaky was there a few times, right?
Were they?
Yes, on our, on TV. They were able to get on TV. My husband being there with us was always such a treasure because he loved talking to Tim about his passion and his love for Bob Marley and what he brought to the city and the world.
Nice.
I love talking to your husband about Mr. Marley and all.
I'm sure he had no
But we won't talk about that.
I hope that was one of those other cutaways.
Yes.
That's priceless also,
Yes.
okay?
Hey.
Y'all got my ear.
It was of the times. That's all I can say.
It still is.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
It's bigger than that now, but
Let me ask you all, what did the Tim Qualls show, what else did it bring to local television, businesses, and entrepreneurs here in Wilmington?
well, it was an opportunity that really was like no other. I mean, you got invited on, you had a conversation, you were friends.
Right.
You just talked about it in a very conversational way that was accessible by anybody watching. It was funny. It was fun. It was all of those things, all of the reasons people watch television, the reason they watch DETV when you guys are on in the morning. I mean, it's that type of foundation that Tim laid for folks to come behind and build on.
That's it right there, foundation.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna come back to that question because we have one more guest that we need to bring.
We're not done yet,
oh
Tim.
God.
We're not done yet.
Because you said foundation, and this person, from clothing to events in Delaware. Sarah Crawford is here also to say, to give her flowers to you.
Now this young lady here, I think she knitted a pair of socks at the time. That's about all she had on her line. Oh my, Sarah.
Welcome, Sarah.
I see you every now and then. Oh my God. Yeah, she was just starting her fashion, getting out in fashion and stuff. And she happened, was it Brittany that you knew? Yeah, Brittany Nicole.
Boy, he has a memory like an elephant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Memory like an elephant. And so the question, Sarah, thank you for coming. The question in the plaza right now is, what did the Tim Qualls show bring to Wilmington and to entrepreneurs?
So I'm speaking from my opinion. So I was brand new, brand new out of college. Delaware doesn't have a lot of media. I remember Brittany was the producer. She's also a friend of mine. She reached out to me and said, hey, we want to bring you on the show. And I'm like, okay. I don't think I had even done TV yet. But I was like, I'm going to play along. And then they asked me to do like a mini fashion show. So we did a few looks from my line at the time. So, I mean, the show was really monumental for me. Starting out, it brought me a lot of press because after that, I just couldn't stop getting people to call me, stop emailing me. I was in the paper, in this paper, doing this, doing that. So I am so grateful for you, Mr. Tim. So thankful for what you brought to me and the small business community because we didn't have an outlet back then, and you were that outlet.
Well, I got, when I see her, I've got to think back to Brittany Nicole. Brittany, what a sweetheart, what a fine she was. She had her own show I created for her, Brittany Nicole at Large, I think it was.
Yep.
Not to tell Dave anything, but my thought, Ivan, the whole time is we have so much talent. I tell my wife to this day, we watch American Idol and all them. There is so much talent in this world of people that will never get an opportunity to showcase their talent. But I always believe that. I brought some people on that have done nothing since they came on, to people like Brian Quinn. Like I said, he's the lead guitarist for Candlebox. Candlebox is not our style, but I didn't say that, Brian. But it's a hard rock group. Right. But they're playing in front of 20, 30,000 people. They're on tour right now. They just went into the studio to cut their new album, had a couple albums, go. So people like that I see that go on, and this young lady, you've done very well, I must say. And the People's Festival, I don't know how COVID affected that and slowed it down, but she had, it was growing.
Miss Pitt's been nonstop. Let me tell you, Miss Pitt's has been freaking stop.
Right.
The People's Festival, one of my guys went out to the People's Festival Saturday and texted me and was like, I'm having a ball. And just to think of when we were going through the old footage, Miss Pitts, I was so shocked because I was like, oh my God, there goes Miss Pitts from 25 years ago, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh. And
I still look the same, right?
Yeah, it still looked the same. The Jazz Festival wasn't called the Clifford Brown Jazz Festival.
No.
It was called
Jazz Nona Squared first.
Right.
So that was 35. That was in the Frawley administration.
I think you were the biggest part of making that a huge success. I mean, people don't realize. And you know, government changes and people's positions change. The biggest mistake they let happen was Miss Tina Betts not being there for that little gap in time.
That little gap, right.
Yeah,
I agree.
That little gap in time. But she has brought so much entertainment and events into our city, you know, and how can I not? I'm thankful that she let me share into her, you know, as well, because politicians, I just wanted to help anybody that I could help, that I felt, if a politician, I didn't care for the politician, I'm not going to put my, now if you got enough money, I'll do an ad for you. But that was the thing that people didn't understand. I was in it, I found a way to make a living.
Right.
But at the same time, I was in it with people that came to do just their ministry on Sunday and this and that. Right. And then Suburban came into the picture. And when Suburban Cable came into the picture, they wanted to close the studio.
Right.
They wanted to shut it down.
But the studio had made such an impact on the community.
Oh.
Right?
Yes.
And Champ.
I got it rallied.
Right. You knew how to rally the troops.
Yes.
Champ, what was it like for you? Like you were at the pinnacle of your career of boxing, right? And you're there with this guy. What was your funniest moment or your most memorable moment with this guy right here?
Well, Tim and I have a number of memorable moments.
We can't even talk about something. He is the biggest prank phone caller that you will ever meet in your life.
He did me.
I'm trying to answer questions to old ladies and stuff. And his Dave Tiberius, you know. So we play a little bit that way, you know, and different voices.
Right.
You know, we were very good friends. I watched his daughters grow up. Golly, I am old now.
You're not old season. What moment was that? What story you have for us?
I'm going to say something I think really positive, is what you touched on earlier about getting into economic development and tourism. Is what the Tim Qualls show and his programs have done over the years. It's created an environment here where I was surprised the state didn't tap into it more, because he was promoting businesses, small and large businesses. And in the on the tourism side, there was a lot of great athletes that came through Delaware, high school, college, and pros. Tim would pretty much be the only one highlighting them and promoting them. So that was a really great benefit to our community here in our state. So having what he's done and what you're doing now is so key, because economic and development and tourism really benefit from this.
Right.
And also spotlighting, you know, what we do. This is a little state, a small community. And, you know, I mean, we live in the shadow of the giants of Philadelphia and DC and all of those places. And having outlets that spotlight and highlight all of the wonderful things that happen here in the state of Delaware is really important. And your attitude was so altruistic. I mean, it just felt like you were just giving, you know. You weren't expecting anything in return except for us to show up, have a great conversation, you know, bring some fun, and talk about what it is that we do so well here in the state of Delaware.
I've told you that at the beginning. I love life. I love people. You know, there's not a lot, you know, and my wife, my current wife, she hears that a lot from people, and I never looked at it that way. I mean, the cameras come on, I'm the same guy that I am. I see different people, they go into roles and they become some. Tim Qualls is Tim Qualls, and this is what
I can bank on that.
Yeah.
My dad used to say I could take that to the bank.
Yeah.
When we acquired the station in 2019, about 3 weeks later, Tim walked in. Right, he walked in with a big book under his arm, and he said, "Ivan, I don't know you, but I'm proud of you. I've been watching what you've been doing, and I'm here to help."
Sounds like Tim.
And it sounds like Tim. And you know, where I'm from, you're always skeptical about someone, right? But Tim just disarmed me, and you could just tell he's just a great guy. Yeah. And he reached out over the years. And that's why we're doing this, Tim, because we wanted to say thank you.
Yes.
You know,
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
thank you.
So much to all of us,
Yes.
man.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, I wouldn't have known them because of you. You know what I mean? And I'm speaking on behalf of Delaware. You put a lot of people that were doing stuff in the dark right under the light.
Yes.
And it was the Tim Qualls light. And we just wanted to say thank you, bro.
Well, I you know, I appreciate it, but there was a lot of people behind the scenes. You know,
It takes a village.
Yeah, well, we had a lot of people behind the scenes. In fact, Dave Reinert, Daps, as we referred to him. He's still with me to this day.
Nice.
He's still my editor. You know, Jimmy Biggs, who started with, you know, I was in business for about 3 years, and I found Jimmy at the same car lot, was my first car lot that I sold. Now, you got to remember, I brought people.
How many car lots did you do in your career?
We figured it up one time, and I decided I'm going to stop doing them at 25.
Oh my
gosh!
gosh.
And that was on a regular. But the thing about the car lots, people didn't understand. The car lots paid
the bills,
paid for everything. All these type of shows as well. We had some sponsors on it. I mean, Club Scene was brought to you by Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch, but not enough to cover the show,
right.
you know, and things like that. But the car lots. I'm not like, if I was like your normal businessman and stuff and not, I just wanted to keep going and going and going, I'd be retired now with millions in the bank. I mean, I truly would, but I didn't, money wasn't the issue, never has been the issue. You know, I like helping people. I still do it, you know. My wife gets kind of upset with me because I go do things, and she said, they paying you? I'm like, no, not really, you know.
Well, I have to ask this because Vincenza, today you're on that side, okay?
Right.
Because you're not my host today.
He's throwing me on that
He's
side.
throwing you on that side because you were also a guest on the Tim Qualls show. What was that experience like for you? Coming fresh, just winning the title. Had a lot of people winning titles, you know what I mean?
Yes.
What was that like for you?
And I appreciate you asking that because that was probably one of my first TV interviews. And I had no aspirations of being on television or being a TV host. It wasn't even a thought because I'm like, I never thought I could do it. I just started competing in pageantry, and I competed for many years. And you always supported my nonprofit. I co-founded a nonprofit literacy organization when I was 18 years old called Success Won't Wait. Remember? Success Won't Wait. It's 20 years now. Right. I'm still promoting literacy throughout the state and the tri-state area and obviously nationwide. But you always gave me an opportunity to get the message out. And when I became Miss Delaware USA, which was a dream come true for me, Tim was obviously, you have to be on the show. You were my first TV interview, and I was so excited. It was probably one of the best opportunities throughout my reign to be on television, being interviewed as Miss Delaware USA, being able to promote my platform. So you gave me that opportunity, but you also opened up a door.
I want to do this.
I could do this. I could be on television. I really enjoyed the experience. So it was something that I'll always treasure. And you never stopped supporting me and every other title holder that would win. And I really appreciated that.
But you guys were there for me too. You know, when I needed some beauty to bring the ratings up. I could call Vincenza and say, and she'd have me 10, 15 of the.
What do you need? Well, you also gave me an opportunity to host some events. I would partner with nonprofit organizations throughout my reign and even after my reign, and I would host fundraisers. And I would call Tim, hey Tim, can you bring a camera crew? Let's get the message out. He would send a camera crew, and you never charged.
Yeah, I remember some
and
of the.
I appreciated that.
I forgot all about that.
You
I remember some of the things.
You would send a camera guy out. You would let me host. That was experience. That was hands-on experience that I was able to put on my resume.
It helped the look of the station.
I'm with you, bro. I get you. Trust me, I totally understand. We got about 5 minutes left. Anyone want to have a special message for the young seasoned guy here?
Well, I would like to say that on behalf of my entire family, my husband Fat Rick for Fat Rick's Barbecue, my son Damon Betts, whatever band he was in at the time, God bless him, and of course me and the city of Wilmington for all of the support that you've given for 30 plus years. Thank you very, very much.
I'm just, I'm in tears here because these are very close friends, you know, and I was never the type, it wasn't a favor. You didn't owe me nothing, Ivan. You know, that's other than Dave Tyberry.
Why you pick on you so much, Dave?
Jokester.
Dave helped me with not only being there for me, but being an example of what a man should be. Okay? That's what Dave always meant to me.
Right.
Because when he said to me what he said to me about the barn, but there's other things too. We won't get into all of them, but Dave always showed me what a man should be. Now we you know, he can wear whatever clothes he wants. That's his business, you know. But no, but he really did, and it's hard to find a Christian way today.
Right.
You know, and I know some people aren't Christians, and I'm fine with that. If you've heard about the Lord Jesus Christ, you've heard the story, it's your decision. But he showed me that I needed to be more of that than what I was.
Understood.
And so that's what Dave brought into my life, you know.
Yeah, Dave does that too.
Yeah. Did I make him cry yet?
He's on his way. Because Dave hits me with scriptures like every other morning. I got that phone call too. Hey, what the heck is this? It's 6 in the morning.
But he will, if he's a friend of yours, he's a friend of yours,
Yes.
and he wants you to find the way. So that's what I get from Dave. And Vincenza, like I can't say anymore. She was always there for me. Tina was always there for me, you know. And this young lady here, I'm just so happy for you. And you know. And Gina, you know, she was, you know, the People's Festival. It doesn't get any better than that other than jazz. but to have that going on, and of course everybody knows our reigning champ. You know, it's you know, but this is just a few of so many people that are involved.
We couldn't get everybody in the studio. You know what I mean?
You would have had to rent the Chase
The Chase Center for that.
The big hall in the Chase Center.
We were there trying. We said, so who we gonna get for the show? And we were like, yo, it is a list of, you know, Robert Martinelli, Today Media is definitely one.
I gotta say, I was written up in the Delaware Today, featured story 3 different times. News Journal, first interview that I ever did with News Journal was scary because people thought I was doing wrong, and it came out that I was really doing right, but you never know when a reporter's writing about you.
There you go.
And I was proud because I made it a held article. I kept saying, when he's coming out, he said, I'll let you know. A held article, the Super Bowl Sunday, front page.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Okay, that to me was,
That's a
it
big
didn't
deal.
get any better at that time.
Huge.
Super Bowl Sunday is the largest paper there is. So, you know, I'm just thankful. I've been blessed, Ivan. And I hope you and wish you all the success. And that invitation still goes out. I'm here.
Oh, it's coming.
I know how to, you know, do. Dave will tell you, he's more like you. He's more technical.
Right.
He's worried about how he looked. I don't care. You
Y'all
know?
like brothers. You guys are like brothers, man.
We are.
I can see why people talk about
bickering, the sibling bickering.
Yeah, I can see why they talk about competition. Because if y'all going at it like down today, what was it like 25 years ago? You know, there might have been some punches
I
thrown.
think you probably can find the tapes to show you what it's like.
I'm looking. Everyone, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Meant so much. Meant so much.
We just wanted to give you your flowers and just say thanks, bro.
I appreciate it. I appreciate
thanks,
it. I really do. It means a lot.
You set the groundwork, the pavement, man, 25, 30, 40, 45 years ago. And Dave and I was out there in the lobby talking ahead of your time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you and it's just something. And I think it really hit me when I saw Jenny Pitts on there. And I'm like, dang, like I met Jenny maybe about 10 years ago. She's really been doing this, and he gave her the platform to talk about it. You know what I mean?
We got to talk to some Marley family on that.
Yes, we did. We did. I mean, the Tim Qualls show really did put the People's Festival out there. So thank you so much, Tim, really from the bottom of our hearts.
Thank you.
You got it.
We just celebrated this Saturday, Tim.
Oh, yeah, they had a beautiful event this Saturday.
I saw it. I was in Texas.
All right, so we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much for spending this last hour with us as we celebrate the man, the living legend, the
foundation.
The foundation.
The foundation.
The foundation. Let's not forget that. Most important. It's always about the people that were ahead of us.
Yes.
If we wanted to say thank you, because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for, I'm just going to say everyone here.
Yes.
Everyone here.
Yes.
So everyone here, thank you.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate you. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Tim, you keep knocking them out, man. And we'll see you at the next car lot.
Yeah. I might be selling them to you by then.
We'll see you next week on Good Morning Wilmington. Remember to love someone, to feed someone, to clothe someone that's in need. And most of all, just give love. All right, we'll see you next week on Good Morning Wilmington.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.